Good morning, everybody. I guess it's 11 o'clock, so not too early. Welcome to my live. I'm going to do some CBD oil education. I know it's random. I didn't give you guys like any warning that I was going to do this, but if you have the time, hop on, come say hello. We're going to talk about CBD 101. So if you've got people, if you're an affiliate and you've got people that are curious about CBD and you don't know exactly how to explain it, we're going to talk about that today. So, and I brought some of my favorite products with me, of course. And how many of you guys have seen the presentation, the My Daily Choice presentation? Have you guys seen that yet? If not, then you should go see it, because that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about, at least the CBD part of it. We have slides available in the HempWorks marketing group, as well as in the MDC official group. Hi, Diana. Hi, Aaron Parker, Stacy McGuire. Hey, Eden. What's up, Doug and Kaylin? Holly's on. Hey, you guys. Hey, Sandy in Louisiana. All right, we're going to talk about some CBD today. So this is geared towards somebody that's newer, that maybe doesn't have any idea what CBD is, or they're still confused and think that it's weed or pot or whatever. In fact, I was going to bring some marijuana on this call just to show you the difference, but I don't have any with me right now. But it's not uncommon that I would have some with me. So I don't criminalize either plant. I believe they're all good for us. That's not the government's opinion right now, but I think that's going to be changing in the near future. Gina says, I thought you were on maternity leave. I am, but I'm also bored and getting bigger all the time. So I'm just trying to keep my feet up and do things like this. I can sit down and go live. Like, that's easy. I can do that. So, yeah, maternity leave basically means I'm not checking my emails as often, not scheduling a lot of work and calls and events and stuff like that. So anyway, all right, now we've got you guys all on here. So let's get this party started. So let me see, let's do the like emoji, or drop an emoji in the comments if you already know about CBD. If you've already been familiar with it, you've already used it before, drop a little, actually, let's use the plant emoji. Use a little plant emoji in the comments if you're already used to CBD, you already know about it, you're already expert, whatever. And if you're brand new and just now learning about it, put a heart in the comments. So heart meaning first time ever learning about CBD, plant meaning you kind of already have some knowledge, already using it. Of course, some of you are already putting hearts in here. Okay, I see some plants going. Okay, so I know some of you guys are going to know this stuff. Some of you won't. All right, we're also going to talk about the HempWorks difference and why our products are different than what's out there. All right, so what is CBD? Let's just start with that. It's a cannabinoid, or cannabinoid, however you want to say it. I think there's multiple ways of saying it. It's an active cannabinoid found in the hemp plant. It's also found in the marijuana plant. I think that confuses some people, but marijuana does have CBD in it. It's a much smaller amount than what you're going to find in hemp. Hemp is like King Kong for CBD. But it's a compound that's found in the plant. It's a natural constituent. It grows just naturally from the earth. We don't have to do anything to it. It's already in the plant. The only thing that we do is we extract the CBD out of the plant, and that creates like an oil. So, and then you get this end product after the extraction. So we're going to talk about a little bit about extraction methods and stuff like that too. Okay, so I have mostly plants in the comments, so you guys are already CBD pros, so that's awesome. Okay, so I'm not allowed to tell you all the things that CBD can do. at least not in easy language. But I can tell you that it does a lot of things, and it's great for many, many people. So if you're new and you're like, okay, just tell me what it does, I can't really tell you what it does. It's too powerful to even talk about. That's crazy. So what I suggest is whatever you're dealing with in your life and you're curious if CBD can help, Google it. Google whatever ailment you're dealing with or whatever you're struggling with, and CBD, and I guarantee you something's going to pop up with some information. Might be a blog, it might be scientific study. There are some studies out there now, and you can go to pubmed.gov and actually research it there as well. So I'm not going to be the one that tells you what it does. I think that honestly it does everything. And the reason why I think it does everything is because it is known that the human body, as well as dogs and cats, have an ECS or endocannabinoid system. What that means is that's like the main electrical system in your body. So we have a respiratory system, a nervous system. These are different systems. In our body, we have an endocannabinoid system. So what does that mean? It means we have cannabis receptors throughout our entire body. So up here, you've got the CB1 receptors. That's going to be activated by THC, which is found in marijuana. That's why you get the psychoactive effects. And then CB2 receptors are throughout the rest of the whole body. And that's going to be activated by CBD. And CBG, CBC, CBN, the whole spectrum basically of the whole plant. And those are just other cannabinoids that I'm speaking about, of course. So that's where CBD comes in. Some people think that it can be good. Well, I can't even tell you guys what it's good for, but just look it up. Okay, we're gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna get this video deleted from compliance, so we're just gonna keep it clean. Yeah, Brianna says FDA compliance. Yes, and if you've seen my last videos on that, the reason we cannot say, well, we can't say what it does is because the way we have to categorize this product is as a dietary supplement. So it says right here, dietary supplement. And dietary supplements are not allowed to have medical claims. A medical claim is something like you're saying it can treat, cure, prevent disease. Even you can say helps with, but you have to be real careful with how you say that as well. You also can't use disease names. So no cancer, no ADHD, no anxiety, none of that garbage, okay? Now, the way I like to explain it, when you're telling your story, if you have a powerful experience with CBD like many of us do, and you can't even talk about really prescription medication. I see some people are like, oh, I'm off my meds. Okay, that's great. However, if you want to be compliant, you can't even really talk about that either. And the reason why is because if the way the FDA is set up is if a dietary supplement can do all these things like treat, cure, prevent, whatever, if it can do medical things, then it becomes a drug. It transforms, the language transforms it into a drug. And we don't want it to be a drug because it's not, it's a plant, it's a constituent from a plant. So we don't use those claims when we use our products. We just tell you to try it. It's a 60-day money-back guarantee. So just try it and see what it does for you. It improves your life, your overall wellness, your cardiovascular health. Okay, helps promote sleep, those kinds of things. Very generic. You can use dietary claims. Those are a little bit more like watered down. Those are the right way to speak about the products. But you can't say that your cancer was cured in 3 days after taking this product. That would be a no-go. So we'll just touch on that real quick. So this is not really about necessarily what CBD can do for you, because I'm a big believer to just try it yourself. Oh, I dropped it. Try it yourself and then see what happens for you. That's the best way to describe it. Okay, moving right along. So let's talk about the history of hemp. And if you guys have questions, leave them in the comments. I'll continue to scroll through as I'm on here. because I know I'm not going to think of everything, and some people have a million questions, and I get them all the time. The reason I go live is so that I can just get all the information out there one shot. So I know a lot of people ask about like nanotechnology and CBD in beverages and all that kind of stuff. We can touch on that if you guys want as well. Okay, now I'm just reading your comments. Somebody posting about tinctures and steam, alcohol. Yeah, so lots of extraction methods. Okay, so let's talk about the history of hemp real quick. So some of us got confused that we had to wait for the Farm Bill to legalize hemp. Now, this happened in 2014, which is basically the law that we were doing our business under, which basically the 2014 Farm Bill stated that if you have a pilot research program and you're conducting research, then in your state, if you set up a pilot research program, you're able to cultivate hemp for research purposes, and you're also allowed to ship the hemp oil or whatever the constituent may be across state lines, so long as it has less than 0.03% dry weight THC by dry weight. So we were operating on the 2014 Farm Bill. Now, fast forward to the 2018 Farm Bill, which took it a step further and basically said that CBD is a natural constituent of hemp and is legal to ship across state lines. And also that each state will kind of have to make up their mind on what they want to do with hemp. Some states are still very confused, as we have seen. South Dakota is very confused right now. I'm hoping they get their act together soon. I had an opportunity to meet the governor, but I decided that wasn't going to be a good idea because I would have to tell her about herself. And you don't even want to get me started on that. So now we're seeing federally it's legal. You can ship this anywhere in the U.S. federally, but state by state, they're deciding how they want to regulate. And I got this flyaway just chilling on the top of my head. Just ignore that. But now it's like state by state, they're deciding if they want to grow it, if they want to allow it on retail shelves, all this stuff. It does. I'm about to just pull this one out. You guys are laughing at me. I see your emojis. But now we're just waiting to see kind of what they feel about it. Now in South Dakota, they're basically saying we don't want natural CBD because it's confusing and it looks like marijuana, and law enforcement won't be able to know the difference. That's annoying. Drug dogs won't be able to know the difference. Yeah, they will actually. And here's how I know that. We had brought our own security team into our warehouse, okay? Our own warehouse where we have lots of HempWorks products, lots of hemp in the warehouse. And we had drug dogs run through there because, just because, like we do security checks with our own employees internally. We brought a team in just to check for weapons, drugs, that kind of thing. We want to have a clean warehouse, basically. So we did this and they found nothing, and no dogs were set off over hemp. So I'm just saying, I don't know. I think they should just legalize marijuana and hemp, and then that'll just solve the problem. I digress. Okay, so let's talk about the history of hemp. I got on to saying about the 2018 Farm Bill, but before that, 77 something years ago, hemp was considered the billion-dollar crop. Even back then, you guys, this is like 1930s even. It was the billion-dollar crop. It competed with many up-and-coming industries like the pharmaceutical industry, the oil industry, plastic industry, all the industries that we see today, the energy industry. Ford, Henry Ford was making cars out of hemp and running them on hemp ethanol, and that got shut down very quickly by the automotive industry. Sherwin-Williams, the paint company, was using hemp in their paints 77 something years ago, And they actually stood against Congress in 1937 when the Marijuana Tax Act was getting passed. And they said, hey, we use this stuff in our paints. It makes it more awesome. Like, why are you guys trying to, make it illegal? Why are you prohibiting an innocent plant that has, no side effects, no psychoactive effects? Just seems kind of crazy. So basically, big money took out hemp, and it was thrown under the bus with marijuana at the same time. And since then, we have been under a hemp prohibition, which is outrageous because hemp is among the oldest industries on the planet, going back to more than 10,000 years, to the beginnings of even like pottery. Okay, this is an ancient plant that's been around our planet for many, many years. So why it became prohibited and confused with marijuana, we call that propaganda and confusion, and there was no reason for any of that. So fast forwarding to the colonial era, American farmers were legally required to grow hemp. Okay, we won World War II because we were growing hemp. That's how we funded the war. So even before that, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, all of our founding fathers grew hemp, knew about hemp, and it was like a legitimate staple in American history. First American flag was on hemp. First draft of the Declaration of Independence was on hemp. And suddenly now it's like, oh my God, it's marijuana. You see, if you go back to our history, hemp has been in our history since the dawn of time, and never really needed to be criminalized to begin with. So that's part of what we fight for here at HempWorks. We fight for hemp legislation in a big way because we don't agree that it should be prohibited anywhere. Now, in 1937, I know I mentioned this earlier, but Congress passed the Marijuana Tax Act, which effectively began the era of hemp prohibition. Now, 2014, the Farm Bill allowed hemp in certain states for research. Kentucky was a key player initiating the current hemp movement in the United States. And who do we partner with? Farms in Kentucky. So that's how HempWorks came to be. We had that connection from the beginning, and we're able to start our business based on that partnership, where some other companies couldn't get in the door. They had a hard time, or they were having to get their hemp from overseas or Europe or China or all these other places where the quality controls maybe not as good. There were some reports coming back from overseas hemp farmers where there's residue, solvents, drywall even was found in the hemp and the oils that were produced on those farms. So we wanted to be different. We wanted to have American farms here. We wanted to grow things locally. And in other countries that we're in, like in Europe, we grow locally there as well. So we want to support the local atmosphere of hemp. So we're not able to export from the United States. So when we're in other countries, we grow it locally as well. And we keep the same standards as we do here in the US. Okay. So lastly, 2018, which I mentioned, President Trump signed the 2018 Farm Bill, which specified hemp and its constituents, such as CBD, as an industrial byproduct, not to be regulated or criminalized by the DEA. Okay, so that basically made the DEA go away, and they're like, listen, this is not a drug. This is in agriculture, and the DEA shouldn't be targeting plants in agriculture for sure. And I think marijuana is going to be next on that list. Right now, marijuana is classified as a Schedule 2 or Schedule 1, or what schedule is it? You guys, pregnancy brain. Someone help me out here. But anyway, it's the same dangerousness as heroin and cocaine, which is the same classification, which is just crazy, meaning there's no medicinal effect. So the conflict with that is, why do we have medical marijuana if there's no medicinal effect? We can't classify it as a drug with no medicinal effect and have medical marijuana programs at the same time. The government's lost, but I digress. All right, so let's talk about marijuana versus hemp. Speaking of marijuana, Now, I know some of the resistance you're going to get is if you're a promoter of CBD, or if you have a CBD oil business, you're going to get resistance from people that are absolutely confused and still hold to the belief that there's reefer madness, marijuana's bad, and that what we're selling is somehow marijuana. It's not. So we're going to talk about the difference. What's the difference between marijuana and hemp? Cannabis is the name of the plant genus, okay? Hemp and marijuana both derive from the cannabis sativa species. But they do share similar or certain similarities. However, due to their biological structure, they have several very distinct and crucial differences. Cannabis contains a variety of different compounds called cannabinoids, two of which are the most dominant are THC and CBD. And both cannabinoids have shown to provide profound benefits to the human body. However, THC induces a psychoactive effect, whereas CBD does not have any of those properties, like I said earlier. Now, CBD, when comparing hemp and marijuana, there is a huge distinction. Marijuana is abundant in THC concentrations between 15 and 40%. So marijuana plant typically has between 15 and 40% THC. Hemp contains a very low concentration of THC, 0.3% or less. Our oils are around 0.03%, okay? Now, each batch may vary a little bit. I've seen 0.08 on some, but under 0.3% for sure. We're in 0.03. So we got an extra zero there, little buffer. Okay, so because of this, hemp is grown primarily for industrial purposes, while marijuana is grown for recreational and medicinal purposes. Although nobody knows what marijuana does medically, because we're not allowed to talk about that, because it's a drug that cannot be studied under current laws. So dumb. Okay, sorry. Don't get me started. I'll go off. All right. Because marijuana is abundant in THC, it is naturally grown for its psychoactive properties, whether it be for recreational or medicinal use. Hemp, on the other hand, primary use for industrial purposes, as it's capable with producing dozens of crucial resources. So you can, if you want to think about the Navy ships back in the day, they used it for rope, make clothing out of it, you can make soap out of it, you can make oil for your car out of it, you can make CBD oil out of it. And that's what brings us to this business, okay? All right. So that's the difference between hemp and marijuana. The way I describe it, and this is not totally accurate of a analogy, but you have the human species, right? I'm a human, you're a human, right? We're all humans on here, hopefully. Maybe some of you, not so much, we'll see. But you have a species, human, and then you have female and male. Now, we're the same species, but we're made completely differently. We have different properties. We've got different purposes. For one, I'm a woman. I can do this, okay? So that's very different than what a man's body can do. So what I'm saying is you have cannabis as the species, and then you have hemp, and you've got marijuana. Yeah, they are related, but they're like related by they're like cousins. And cannabis is the species, okay? So that's kind of how I describe it, although there's going to be male and female parts of the plant, so not totally accurate of analogy, but just to say, yes, they're the same species. No, they're not the same. Okay. Benjamin said, drugs are a sin. Oh God, Benjamin, this is not the right live for you. I'm sorry. Benjamin, you're going to have to go find another live to troll. Plants are not drugs, and sometimes they can be made into drugs. For instance, the opium plants can be turned into heroin or whatever. Certain pharmaceutical drugs can be taken from plants and turned into drugs. But you need a whole recipe for that, okay? I don't know the recipe. I'm just saying you need baking soda. You need some other chemicals and compounds and chemistry involved to make that a drug. So this literally gets extracted from the earth, from a plant. We put it in hemp seed oil, and we add either peppermint or cinnamon flavor to it, which is a steam distilled natural form, okay? And that's not a drug. I'm sorry. If it was a drug, then I would be able to tell you all the amazing things that it does. But because it's not a drug, it's just a plant. And plants aren't allowed to do anything. So there you go. All right, let's talk about isolate versus full spectrum. All right, let me see. I'm gonna just catch up on comments real quick here. Arkansas needs some serious education. Yeah, but they're all coming along. I think in the next year or so, this is gonna be a thing of the past. And I'm tripping on my words today. All right. Someone is asking, how about drug test? Okay, we can talk about that real quick as we lead into isolate versus full spectrum. Drug tests. So let's talk about that for a minute because some people are worried about that, right? Now, I will say if you're taking a home drug test, if you ate a grapefruit for breakfast in the morning, you might fail your drug test. Those things are very shady, okay, and not totally accurate. If you had a poppy seed muffin, you might fail your drug test. So, you know, it's one of those things. But what I'm going to bring up here is the fact that drug tests don't always know the difference between the compounds in the oil. So sometimes if they're super sophisticated, they'll be able to detect the difference between THC and CBD, but sometimes they're not. So what we do is something a little different. We offer two different forms of our oil, and that's what we're going to talk about now. Now, this product in particular, this is the one I take every single day, twice a day. I do not miss a day of this because I will go crazy if I don't have my oil. I'm just saying, this keeps me grounded and feeling good. So I take the full spectrum oil. What does that mean? Full spectrum means that we're using the whole plant, So you're not getting just CBD, you're getting CBG, CBC, CBN, some terpenes, a little bit of THC, and of course, CBD, right? So all of those compounds together. And when they come together, it creates the entourage effect. They work synergistically together. They belong together, okay? And the reason is each one of the compounds targets a different area of your body to give it something special. I'm trying to use my compliance terminology here. But each compound targets a specific part of your body differently. So it's very, very powerful when they all come together. Now, because there is a little bit of THC in here, and I'm talking tiny, tiny bit, like hardly any, okay? 0.03 to 8% THC. So technically, you could fail a drug test if you take the product long enough, because the way your body adapts to it. Now, the product is designed, hemp in general, and marijuana typically, is designed to stay in your system for a long time. That's why if you smoke marijuana, it stays in your system for like 30 days because it's supposed to be kind of an adaptogen. It's supposed to habituate in your body. It's supposed to linger in there because it's giving you all these benefits to your body. If it just entered and exited your body that fast, then what good is it going to do for you? You know what I'm saying? So you kind of want it to linger on. So if you miss a couple of days, it's not the end of the world because you still have some in there. It does get metabolized in your fat. Okay, so depending on how you metabolize the oil can determine if you fail a drug test or not. And I'm not saying if you're fat, you're going to fail a drug test. I'm not saying that. I could be equally susceptible, although I'd never take a drug test because I already know I would fail, absolutely, because I do use marijuana and hemp. But that is the risk of taking a full spectrum product. There is some THC. We do offer a THC-free option, which we call isolate. So that's my next point. If you are worried about this, maybe you're a law enforcement person that wants to take this, or you're a fireman or somebody that's routinely drug tested, maybe you're a truck driver, or teacher or something like that, and you want to keep your job, okay, then take the THC-free version where all other cannabinoids are basically left out and only CBD is in the oil. That's it, just CBD. CBD itself is extracted out. All other cannabinoids are left out of it. Now there's another option that we've been experimenting with, which is really cool, called broad spectrum. Broad spectrum is all cannabinoids left in minus the THC. So I'm not going to drop any like hints or anything, of course, wouldn't do that. But that technology is here. So let's just put it that way. But right now, the isolate is just CBD only. So it's a higher amount of CBD than you're going to get in a full spectrum because that's the only thing that's in there. So obviously we're going to give you a little more in there versus when you're getting all of the other cannabinoids in a full spectrum. So there was an article that came out a few years ago that basically said when you're using a full spectrum product, the therapeutic range is much wider on these products, meaning I'm just going to give you a little example. If you take this much, great. If you take this much, great. If you take a few drops, great. That therapeutic range is much wider, which means you can't really mess up when you're taking the product. You're going to probably see some effects of the power of this oil, no matter how much you take of it. Now, some people are like, you know, I took quarter dropper twice a day and I don't feel anything. Take more. Or I took 2 full droppers and I'm not sure it's working. Take less. So everybody's body is different. So the serving size is going to be different for every single person. For me personally, I do 2 of these in a row. So I go 1, 2, that's my morning. And then I do the same thing at night. That's what I take. So that's how I do it. The isolate though, or the CBD only product, you have to work a little bit harder to see those effects, I feel like, because it's just CBD. So you're not getting all the other good stuff in the product that you would normally get if you were taking a full spectrum. Not saying it doesn't work, but saying that it's going to be a little bit harder for you to figure out what serving size works best for you. You may have to take twice as much. You may have to take twice as less. You know, it just depends on your body. So that's the main difference between taking THC free versus a full spectrum. My recommendation, if you're not worried about your job, take a full spectrum because THC does have a lot of benefits. And if you can swing it with your job or whatever, then take that one. That's my personal opinion. All right, now we're going to talk about the HempWorks difference. Why HempWorks products are different than everything else out there. Why are we different than the CVS products? Why are we different than the other maybe network marketing products that are now on the scene? I'm not going to talk about their brands in, specifically, because I honestly do not waste my time worrying about all of other people's products. But I do take a glance at their labels sometimes to read and to see what is actually in their bottle. And sometimes, which is what has been happening more and more frequently, what's on the label is not always in the bottle. This is like the wild, wild west. This industry is not regulated yet. So companies are getting away with just saying whatever they want on the labels, and then whatever's inside, nobody really knows. And nobody's really providing testing or documentation. So you never know what you're really getting. Some people have had adverse side effects to CBD because of the other ingredients that they're putting in the bottles. So what makes HempWorks different? Why do we not have those kinds of issues? Well, for one, we don't cut corners when it comes to quality. We believe in providing the highest quality. And a lot of that has to do with our farming, testing, extraction method, our minimal ingredients, and our commitment to using organic methods, non-GMO. That's a big deal. Non-GMO is a huge, huge deal because the way that hemp is being farmed by some of these bigger industries, I should say, they are not doing it in an organic way. Okay, they're trying to use science to go around nature to increase profits, and it's creating products that don't work as well and that are not as natural for the human body. So the hemp works different. Let's start with farming. Okay, our farms are all in the USA. Specifically, we're using Kentucky farms, like I mentioned. We have fresh lock drying technology, which means that when we harvest the plant, it gets vacuum sealed within 4 minutes of harvest so that no mold, no toxicity, nothing can grow on the plant before it's extracted. This allows us to store the hemp for years. Really, we could stockpile it for years, and it will be just as fresh when we open up that bag because of the fresh lock drying. You guys seen those vacuum sealed like commercials where they just like zip it and then you can freeze your meat, or you can freeze whatever you have in your house and then stick it in the freezer and it'll stay fresh forever. It's kind of like that. We use that technology with our hemp. So when it's harvested, vacuum sealed and stored, and then when it's ready for extraction, it's like a brand new harvest. And not a lot of farms are doing that, but our farm is doing that. And that's why every bottle is so fresh when you get it. And you can see this, this awesome green color. I mean, the plant is green. Hello, has to be green. Some of these I've seen are clear or yellow or looks kind of diluted. We have no dilution whatsoever. We are using a very high potency oil. So some of that has to do with the fresh lock drying. Now, if you've seen your grandparents growing weed in the 70s, you saw how they're hanging their plants up in the garage to dry, to air dry, because it has to be dry. And they're getting the flower buds off of there. Okay, I don't know the whole process. I'm not a grower, but I'm just telling you that my light just fell. That's what I'll tell you. But I'm telling you that it's not going to be high quality if you are cutting corners with the harvest. So our farming, we cut no corners, and they're rapidly expanding all the time and investing more and more into the technology to make it even better. So that's that. We partner ourselves with our farms in Kentucky, and they're actually one of the 13, not just us, but our farm is one of the 13 companies to receive the Hemp Authority seal. So we did receive it because obviously our oils are going to be pure quality, and everything that we say is in the bottle is in here. And our farm received that same seal as well. So it just kind of goes together. All right, now moving on to testing. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, but just briefly, some of the testing that we do on our products, we use gas chromatography, antimicrobial testing, we provide a certificate of analysis, and we prove the potency. We do potency testing as well. And why does that matter? Because documentation beats conversation. So I see a lot of people and companies running their mouth about their patented technology on their plants. Plants do not need to be patented. If you're using a natural plant, you don't need a patent on it. If you're patenting something, that means you're doing something in the lab, something synthetic. So we don't do that. But we do provide all of our testing on every batch. If you can see this number down here, it's very tiny. Let me see. Lot number and expiration. Okay. So every lot, every batch is pulled. We can pull every batch of oil that's given to you guys, so that if there is ever an issue, because we're dealing with nature here, not every single bottle is going to be exactly the same. So you may have one that's a little greener, a little darker, a little lighter. It varies based on the time of harvest, because they're real plants we're dealing with here. If it were a pharmaceutical, then it would be exactly the same every single time. So that's why we have quality control measures in place so that we can find our oil once it gets to the consumer. We also do a lot of testing before it gets to the consumer as well. But we put all of this information right on our website. You go to hempworks.com, click on documentation, and there you have it. Now with our new labels that are coming out, there will be QR codes on our labels so that you can literally scan the bottle, and you'll be able to pull the batch of where it came from, and you'll be able to see where your oil came from exactly. So if there's any question or any doubt in your mind about what's in this bottle, we're going to just give you a QR code you can scan and you can go see exactly where it came from. Our new labels will also have the Hemp Authority seal on them, which also proves that quality measures were taken into place, and that this will also help with law enforcement since they are confused about marijuana. When you have a Hemp Authority seal on here, it says this is a quality product that's made from hemp, and it basically tells them to leave it alone, that this is not in their jurisdiction because it's a plant. Okay, so that's that. Let's talk about extraction method. Now we use the CO2 extraction method, which is a slower process, and we also don't use high heat. We use a low temperature process to extract the oils from the plants, okay? So we're not using alcohol or ethanols or chemicals or harmful solvents in our extraction process, and I feel like that's a good thing because when these products get tested, sometimes when they're extracted with ethanol or other solvents, the residue is left behind in the oil, and I don't feel like that's what people want in their bodies. So we don't do that. We use the CO2 extraction method. Now the next thing is we use very minimal ingredients, which I said briefly a few minutes ago. Literally, there's 3 ingredients at most in our oil. That's it. We keep it very simple, very basic, very high potency and high quality. So you've got the active cannabinoid, which is the CBD, CBC, could be all the CBs in the bottle. Plus we add a carrier oil, which is hemp seed oil. We use hemp seed oil because it has so many benefits already. Even if you just did that by itself without the CBD, there are benefits of taking hemp seed oil or cooking with it, you know, that kind of thing. We use this because it's also locally grown. The hemp seed oil comes straight from the plant. We believe that keeping the CBD with its plant, hemp, makes for an amazing formula. And then lastly, there's either peppermint or there is cinnamon. And those are naturally derived, and the peppermint is steam distilled. So you're not getting any junk basically in your product. So we stand by that. We believe in that 100%. I've seen products that have 13 to 18 ingredients, some of which you cannot even pronounce. Some that if you research them individually, the ingredients individually, you'll see the side effects that they have. Some people are saying they took a CBD oil, not ours, of course, and they got dizzy or increased their heart palpitations and that kind of thing. So it's always, always important to not only read the label on your product that you're buying, but also to look for the documentation that proves what's in the bottle. If you can't find documentation for the products that you're buying, that's a red flag. I'm just letting you know, especially in CBD, because it's not that regulated yet. In the future, I think it will be, especially with the labeling. And you'll see a lot of CBD oil companies rise and fall because they don't meet these quality standards. I don't feel like we'll ever have that issue because we do things by the book. We cut no corners. But there will be some companies that have to deal with that and have to face the music because they are putting garbage in their oil. And many companies do this to save money. They dilute their product. They say that they have 750, but when it's tested, it's not 750. Where we come into play is we give you exactly what we say we're giving you. So that's part of the HempWorks difference. So just to elaborate on the testing and documentation, our product development team is super passionate about creating safe, effective, and effective products. All of our products undergo third-party testing. What that means is the testing doesn't come from our HempWorks facilities. It doesn't come from our farms. It comes from a third-party organization that's not affiliated with our company at all. We've used Pro Verde Labs. We've used other labs as well, depending on how busy they get, because these labs are kind of getting busy now because of this industry. But we do all third-party testing on our products, including gas chromatography, antimicrobial potency testing, and we provide a certificate of analysis for every batch that shows that there's no pesticides. Okay, some people are promoting that they have an organic CBD oil, but their testing comes positive for pesticides. Some people are like, why doesn't it say organic if you guys are using organic methods? Well, the reason why we don't put the organic seal on our products is because this classification doesn't exist for CBD yet. And as soon as it does exist for CBD, you better believe that we will be applying for that seal. But we don't have that yet because it's not available yet. So we are allowed to say that we're using organic methods. We can't say 100% organic, even though it is, because that seal doesn't exist for CBD yet. So if you're buying a product and it says it's organic, check on that. Check on that, because it sounds like they are lying. So I'm just saying. Anyway, so we provide certificate analysis for every batch of our products, and we believe so strongly in the quality of our products that we give all of our customers and affiliates an empty bottle money back guarantee for 60 days. 60-day money back guarantee, not 30. This is only going to last you 30 days. This is about 25 servings. Okay. How did I come up with that? Or excuse me, 50 servings. My bad. 50 servings, 25 days worth. So if you take it twice a day. So 750 milligrams, there's 15 milligrams per serving. So if you can fill this whole thing up, all right, 15 milligrams, you take it twice a day, that's 30 milligrams per day, times 50 servings is 750. That's how we do the math. 500 milligrams, 10 milligrams per serving. Take that twice a day, that's 20 milligrams a day. And then 50 times 10 is 500. So that's how we get to 500 milligrams. So that's how we came up with our names. Is based on how much you're going to get in your bottle. All right. That's the potency. So I briefly mentioned the U.S. Hemp Roundtable, or the Hemp Authority seal. Okay. We went through serious audits to go through this process to get approved for this, and only 13 companies so far. As of March 1st, were selected to pass all standards, and we were one of those companies. So the U.S. Hemp Authority announced the first awards of its certification seal to 13 outstanding companies that have met the stringent standards the industry laid out for quality and safety. The reason why this program started is because there's a lot of bad actors in the CBD industry. There's a lot of companies that are faking it till they make it. There's a lot of companies that are focused on their marketing more than they are their quality. And it's unfortunate, but that's why we have this seal in place, so that you don't have to worry about HempWorks, the quality anyway. You don't have to worry about that, because we're already going through all of the processes and quality control standards to make sure you get the best of the best. So now, as far as product offerings, I did mention this comes in 750 and 500 milligrams. It comes in cinnamon and natural and peppermint. The THC free version doesn't have as many flavors yet, but that's something that's in the works. We also have HempWorks dog treats that have 2.5 milligrams of CBD per dog treat. I don't have any with me right this second, but my dogs love it. It's wheat, soy, corn free, and veterinarian formulated, and those are 100% natural. They are literally cooked like cookies in an oven. They take a little bit longer to make, but they're high quality and dogs love them. If you have a smaller dog, you could break them in half. We also have the 250 milligrams, which is a full spectrum. So yes, your dog is going to get a little bit of THC, but if you have a dog like I do, you know that dog needs a little bit of that THC, because they're hyper as all get out. Or maybe they got separation anxiety. You guys have the dogs like I do, where you can't even pee by yourself. They have to put their paws under the door and wait for you. Okay, I have to give my dog CBD because they are crazy without it. So that's 250 milligrams, not 750. You could give your dog more, but there was a study done that said that the therapeutic range for animals, especially, for dogs and cats, is going to be less. It works better when it's less potent because they are smaller little creatures. So there is that as well. It's also mixed with the hemp seed oil as well. So now let's move right along to skincare. Okay, and these labels are going to be redone. We've already did them. Marketing team is already finished. We are waiting for our new label order to come in, and then these will be launched soon. And I'm super excited about that. This is our Renew cream. So technically, we call this our anti-aging cream that helps reduce the appearance of wrinkles and fine lines. This product contains 50 milligrams of active CBD and 0 THC. So you don't really need THC for your face, but you do need CBD for your face. And you guys, if you've seen me a couple years ago, I had very bad skin, okay, with my autoimmune disorder that I feel like I don't have anymore, honestly. Like, I don't have any symptoms at all. But back in the day, I did. My hair was falling out super bad. And my skin was so dry and just breaking out crazy. Like, it was not pretty at all. Or as I should say, freaking out. That's the word I use for my skin. Freak out, not break out. Anyway, I'm going to show you what this looks like real quick. This is the one I literally use like every day, twice a day. I don't use like anything else. I'll do this one a couple times a week, if that, 1 to 2 times at night only. But this one is apple stem cells and CBD mixed together. And it's very creamy, lightweight. It doesn't clog your pores. It does not feel like greasy or anything. It tightens the skin. You can feel it before you put your makeup on if you're a girl or if you're a man, whatever, especially if you got like a beard or whatever on your face or rough skin. This is going to help smooth things out. I am pregnant, so obviously I am Botox free. Can you see? And it works so good. I don't know how to tell you guys, but just try it. And I use this morning and night, like I said, twice a day. I buy a buttload of this every month because I'm afraid to run out. Also, people have told me that they use this for diaper rash for their babies. I've used it on my hands when my hands have got really dry, and it just has a lot of uses. And if you think 50 milligrams is not enough, it is. But if you want to get saucy, you can put a little bit of drops in here if you want to increase the CBD count. Okay, moving on. The Revive cream right here. Again, these are getting a makeover soon. But this is the collagen and retinol product that we have that helps reduce the appearance of fine lines as well. This one has more of a drying effect. So don't put it around your eyes. This one you can put around your eyes, like under your eyes, it's fine. Not this one. This one has a drying effect because of the retinol. It has the highest amount of retinol you can get before you go into a dermatologist or doctor's office. So that's going to be at 1%. And collagen obviously stimulates the elasticity in your skin. Retinol is going to help shed away that dead skin. If you've got like super clogged pores from like your makeup, whatever, I have to go through this. I have to exfoliate like nobody's business. I'll exfoliate, then I'll put this on before I go to bed, and it'll be on a night that I don't use this, and I just let it sit on there. And in the morning, I feel like all the garbage is just coming off my face. Then I get my clear skin again, and then I go back to this again. So that's how I use it. We also have our Relief Cream, which I don't have any with me right this second, but it's in my bathroom. And it is a lifesaver for anyone that is pregnant. Let me just tell you, Sonia even said when she was in labor, she did a completely natural childbirth. She only used the oils and her Relief Cream. And Relief is, it's an icy topical rub. So kind of similar to like Icy Hot or Bengay, okay, if you've ever seen those before. Except we're using emu oil and CBD, and those come together. There's also Arnica montana in there as well. Have you guys ever heard of using that for swelling or bruising and that kind of thing? I have heard of this before, and the reason why is because I'm always getting my tattoos removed, and my doctor always says, oh, put arnica on it or whatever. I only put relief cream because it has it in there, so it helps with like anti-swelling and that kind of thing for topical wounds or surface level pain. For people that are paranoid to take our oil, sometimes they start out with the relief cream first. And I know, like, if you maybe have, achy joints, or you got that elbow pain that just won't go away, shoulder pain, whatever kind of topical surface level issues that you're having, you can use the relief cream for that and see how it works. So funny story about that, just real quick. You guys, we have a basketball court in our house. If you've seen our videos on that, there's a slide from the game room, from the balcony. There's a slide that goes straight down into the basketball court. Josh thought it'd be funny if he would slide down it without bracing himself. And he thinks he's younger than he is. So he went straight down, and with his size and stature, he went pretty freaking fast. He was gaining massive speed down the slide. And I think we got it on camera, which is hilarious. Maybe we'll leak that video at some point. But anyway, he straight up broke his butt. Okay, his tailbone was annihilated after that. He slid all the way into the basketball court. And there's like a little pad at the bottom. He slid right off of that and just slammed right there. And I had to get him a donut to sit on, you guys. He was like complaining about his butt for like, I don't know how long. It was at least a week. And I kept yelling at him. And I'm like, first of all, I'm 8.5 months pregnant. I don't feel bad for you and your discomforts, first of all. And I legit told him, I was like, you're stealing my thunder for this. I'm allowed to be uncomfortable. You're not. Like, you have to be the strong one. So you're not allowed to like fall apart. You have to be strong. And I was like, use relief cream. Like, we have a whole gang of it in the house. Put some relief cream on your butt. Like, bro, like, what are you doing? And finally he's like, oh yeah, like, I'm going to try that. Duh. So he gets like 4 bottles of it and lines them all up in the bathroom. And every night he's putting relief cream on his back side tailbone area. And within 3-5 days, he stopped complaining. And I was like, hallelujah, thank God, because that's getting so old. Like, we went to our son's baseball game. He stood up the whole time. And I'm like sitting in a chair watching the game. He's standing next to me. I'm like, you're so awkward. Like, but the relief cream helped take that sensitivity and aching away from his butt. So that's my story on that. We also have coffee. So for the coffee lovers, we've got hemp-derived coffee, 150 milligrams per box. That's 5 milligrams per cup. If you're taking a 500 milligram oil, you take the coffee, you take it with a creamer. We have creamers as well. Put them together, and that's like a full serving of the 500 milligrams. You're getting 10 milligrams per cup. And what's amazing about this coffee, you guys, is it's organic, medium roast Arabica coffee beans, gluten-free. Hallelujah. Gluten-free, vegan, no pesticides. The majority of coffee we're buying has pesticides in it. If you're going to Starbucks, I'm just telling you right now, it's not organic, which means they're using something that probably has pesticides all over it. And coffee absorbs the pesticides more than other products or foods do. The beans do. So you're getting like a lot of it in your coffee if it's not organic. So organic coffee is a big deal. If you haven't switched over to organic coffee yet, here's your chance. Get hemp-derived organic coffee. Gluten-free, that's a big deal. So it is instant coffee, which means you're just adding hot water. We do that because it's easier to ship, it's easier to sample, it's easier to share with other people, which fits our business model. That's why we went the instant route. But we wanted it to be really high quality, even though it was instant. So we figured out how to do that. It's also vegan, cruelty-free, non-GMO. It's not made in a weird lab. They're just the beans basically ground it up, and they're high quality. And it's as little as $2.30 per cup. 0 THC in that as well. So you're getting high quality coffee in every cup. Now the creamers are keto coffee creamers. So I haven't been using these during my pregnancy because I don't want to do a keto diet right now, but I do use the coffee. After this baby is born, I'll be hopping on this keto craze like you wouldn't believe, because I'm gonna have to lose some weight for sure. But this coffee creamer helps with weight loss, well, weight management, I should say. And we have 3 different flavors. So there's hazelnut, vanilla, mocha, 75 milligrams per box. There's 15 servings per box. The coffee's got 30 servings. The creamer has 15. So get you 2 boxes to cover the month if you want to use it every time. Gluten-free, vegan, non-dairy, and sugar-free. So, and it actually tastes really, really good. So that's a coconut-based creamer. So for you vegans out there, you're solid. You're drinking coconuts, not cows. There you go. Lastly, what we've recently just launched is our bath bombs. I love these, you guys. I cannot tell you the stage my back is in after carrying this baby around for almost 9 months now. This is like my life right now. I have stacks of the bath bombs in my bathroom right now, and it is like a serious part of my nighttime ritual. So it comes with 4 bath bombs in it. The bath box does, and you're gonna get citrus, sea salt, lavender, lemongrass, and they're 100 milligrams. 4 scented CBD bath bombs containing 100 milligrams of hemp seed oil and 10 milligrams of CBD. So lavender helps, soothe and calm at night. You better believe this baby is going to get her lavender bath bomb on at night because she needs to relax at the end of the day and go to sleep. So my kids are using these for sure. Lavender to calm and soothe, lemongrass to balance and uplift, sea salt to refresh and revitalize, and citrus to cleanse and refine. So if I'm taking a bath in the morning, I'll use the citrus or the lemongrass. At night, I'm doing the sea salt or lavender. And game changers. At the end of the day, like my body is beat down. Like even if I didn't do anything. Just carrying this baby around. I was telling Josh yesterday, it feels like I'm wearing like a weighted vest all the time that I can't take off. So I have to lay in this bath at the end of the day in order to like feel normal again. And it does really help with like muscle tension and that kind of thing. So that's basically our HempWorks products. I know a lot of this was verbal, not visual. You have to stare at me explaining them. But if you go to hempworks.com or go to the person that referred you to this video, if you shared this video and somebody shared this video with you, you can get back to that person and go check out their link. They will have a referral link for you, and they can give you more information on our products and our quality control measures, our testing and farming and all that good stuff. But that's a little bit for CBD education. Before I hop off of here, is there any last minute questions, burning questions that I didn't cover that you guys want me to cover? I need to scroll to the bottom here. Hang on. Let's see here. Any burning CBD questions that I may have missed? I'm just seeing a lot of positive comments. Basically, you guys love the coffee, bath bombs. I love them too. And if we ever launch something I don't love, you better believe we will fix that right away. Because I am a big believer in high quality products. Kid doses, that's the question. So serving size for children. Well, these are marketed to adults, not children. So I can't really say the serving size that's appropriate for children because it's hemp, and hemp, people are scared about hemp. So we don't talk about children and hemp. But I will tell you that my kids do take this oil. My 13-year-old for sure takes this oil. He needs it. We all need it, but he definitely needs it. And he takes it twice a day, just the same as I do. So in the beginning, he was taking a 500 milligram, and now he just takes 750 because it's all we have in our house. We have like a box of this only. So everybody just takes this kind. But you could do a 500 milligram. That's a little less potent. What I say is if you have something you're super struggling with, get you to $750. Okay, it is a little bit more expensive. It's $89. It's still going to be pretty competitive for what you're going to see at the dispensary. But if you're just maintaining your health, you have no real issues, you just want to feed that endocannabinoid system, or you're maybe younger, 500 milligrams is plenty. Many people have amazing results with just 500 milligrams as well. When do the labels change? Well, we're in the process of lining up our new website launch, which is happening soon, because the new website's going to have the new labels on it. We're lining that up, as well as our order. So we have a few labels we need to go through first. We have like 1 million labels left or something crazy. So we're going to burn through those first so we don't waste money, and then we're going to launch them. I would say 60 days possibly, but don't quote me on that. That's just my guess. Let's see. Fat soluble versus water soluble. So oil and water don't mix. They just don't, unless you are doing something scientific to the oil, like minimizing the molecule using nanotechnology. I'm against it. That's just my personal preference. I'm against it because the only studies that I've seen on nanotechnology and CBD, well, I haven't seen any actually, but I haven't seen any studies on that. I've only seen marketing jargon on it. So here's my whole thing. I was looking up some of the warnings of nanotechnology and CBD. And I was talking to our head chemist at our farm, like, hey, is this something we should be offering? Everybody's talking about it. Like, are we missing some trend or something? And these chief chemists, scientists, basically told us that it's a little too early to get into that, because there's a few negative things that can happen with nanotech and CBD. For instance, there's not real solid science that says how small they're making these molecules. So they don't have like a measure that says, okay, it's getting, this big versus that big. They're getting sometimes so small that it's smaller than your blood. The molecule of your blood is actually bigger than the molecule that they're reducing these products to, which are water soluble. So the reason why a water soluble CBD looks like the oil is mixing with the water is because they're using nanotechnology to minimize the CBD molecule so that it blends. Because the oil is a bigger molecule than the water. So when you put them together as its natural state, the oil floats to the top. Okay. But you don't need it to be water soluble, because you're just taking this straight under your tongue, straight. You don't need to add it to water, do anything like that. But the problem is with nanotechnology, I'm just going to be keeping it real here, is that the CBD can either, and other chemicals, whatever else is in their product, can get trapped into your body. One of two things can happen, depending on the size of the molecule. It can either get trapped into your body, and then now you have like a graveyard of chemicals that are stuck in your body that can't excrete, because it's not a natural process. And you need your body to be able to purge out some of these chemicals that are also in some of the products that are using nanotechnology. The other thing is while they're saying it's higher bioavailability, that's a big marketing word that we're using, okay? The problem with the whole bioavailability thing with CBD and nanotech is that while it enters your body super fast, which you may feel like you're getting a result super fast because it's absorbing quicker, it's also it's also exiting just as fast, okay? So as I'm trying to use my language with my brain, my pregnancy brain. But here's the difference. When you take our product, it goes in naturally, it stays in your body naturally so that it can help your whole body. When you're using a nanotech product, it's basically entering and exiting super fast. So it's not staying in your body. So you're not going to see those longer term effects of the product, because it's higher absorbing, and then it's higher leaving your body as well. And then also some of the warnings were that it can get stuck into your body. So I don't know. I think it's too early for that right now. I think it's too early for nanotech. I haven't seen any studies on it yet. I don't want to launch something that I'm unsure of. I don't want to go into those products if there's nothing solid about them yet. Right now, we're just told that it's marketing right now, and that's about as far as it is for the product. So as it stands, we leave it as exactly as in its natural form as we can, so that way it works better with your body. Okay, what else? Can you clarify the 60-day money-back guarantee? When does the 60 days start and end? From the day your product has been delivered, I guess. I think. I don't know. That's a good question. Probably your order date. Order date to if you ever need a refund. But our customer service team is very flexible. We work with you. We're not like super anal about it. Like, if you're unhappy, we will take care of you. Okay. Is there a business kit? Yes, there is a business kit. So if you become an affiliate and you upgrade for $20, you get a starter kit that's sent to you in the mail. Mary says, are the two sites, sprays and oil, going together? Yes. So when we launch our new website, that's going to be an option where you can drag and drop all your products to your cart, just like Amazon. And when you check out, you get to pick whatever products you want. And it's going to tell you how much BV you got in your cart. And then you can mix and match and order whatever you want. So yeah, that is actually happening soon. And we're really excited about that. Okay, any other questions? Belly button. Some people are, yeah, they put CBD oil in their belly button as a way of absorbing it. I have not done this myself. I just prefer to take it the regular way, but I know people swear by it and love to do that. For people that don't want to maybe taste the oil, they can do that. Also, I just want to say before I go, anybody that's saying our products are, patented technology or nano whatever, just ask for documentation. That's the best habit you can get into. If they've got the documentation, fabulous. But if they don't, then you know that you're just being sold a marketing product. So I think that's the difference. When you're out shopping for CBD, whether it's our brand or not, it's okay. There's other good brands out there. You don't have to take HempWorks. I recommend it because I know what's in there, because I know I've seen behind the scenes, I've seen the warehouse, I've seen the farms, I've seen all that stuff. But just ask for documentation. That's my whole point. If you can't find it on their website, there's a lot of products being sold online that don't even show you the back of the label, okay? And if you're buying a product like that, then you're gambling. You're playing Russian roulette. So just be aware of that. So anyway. All right, I'm going to sign off. There's a gazillion questions in here, but I don't want to be here all day. So thank you guys for hopping on. I appreciate you guys, and hopefully I've given you some good information. If I forgot to mention something, feel free to leave it in the comments, and I'd be happy to touch on that next time I go live. All right, guys, my next video will be on social media and marketing, so stay tuned for that. See ya. Have a good one.